Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing the Porsche 911 GT3. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Porsche Salt Lake City for giving me some time with this GT3. This particular GT3 is still available for sale for the time being, so I'll include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out this car and the rest of the inventory that they have. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's dive right into it. Now I popped this open just to be funny. With the GT3, you can't actually pop open as much as you can with a regular 911. But anyways, we have a naturally aspirated 4-liter flat 6-cylinder that goes through either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed dual clutch automatic. This one has the 7-speed PDK. Power outputs are a whopping 502 horsepower at 8,400 RPMs, and then 346 pound-feet of torque at 6,100 RPMs. Now, before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the headlights, this has Porsche's LED matrix lighting system, which obviously helps out the visibility a massive amount, but also it just looks cool instead of the light housing. And then I've always been a fan of the light there off to the side, obviously again for practicality, but it just looks cool. Now, any venting you see on the outside of this GT3 is practical. There is no fake venting on the GT3. I know it's a rare thing in today's world where cars have tons of fake venting, but not on a Porsche. But anyways, when you put it all together with this blue, I mean, this thing absolutely means business. Like, you know, this is a track weapon the second you look at it. Now, coming on the side here, our tire wheel setup is 255/35/20 in the front, and then 315/30/21 in the rear. So we have a fully staggered setup, and you guys can see we've got center lock wheels with this as well. Another kind of like race car thing. And then take a look at the brakes. You guys can see with the caliper, it's been painted black, and then I love the blue that goes around the wheel as well. And then just look how beefy the front fender is here. Of course, we still have the fuel filler cap there in normal Porsche fashion. And then look at the mirror caps here, carbon fiber, and then you've got really cool ground effects. And speaking of carbon fiber, by the way, the whole roof also carbon fiber. And then this right here obviously adds to the cool aesthetic look of the car, but it's actually there for practical reasons. This is a high traffic area for rocks, and so that being there actually helps out with preventing, you know, the paint from getting chipped up. And then here is your full side view. I love how dynamic this blue color is depending on how the light hits it. But again, just look how wide those fenders are. And then taking a look at the key fob, you can see that it actually matches the exterior color, which is another cool feature. And notice it illuminates with the lock and unlock function, which is another cool feature. And I guess we forgot to go over the front in the GT3, so... And as you can see, even though this is literally a race car from the factory, you still have a practical front trunk, so you could throw a couple suitcases up here for a road trip if you wanted to in a GT3. And I guess it was a good thing that we popped this because you can see carbon fiber, and let me tell you, this is like, it weighs nothing, but we actually still get the traditional Porsche emblem. They didn't do the sticker emblem like they do on the 3RS. Now, back to the back, you guys can see we have the giant spoiler here in the back that comes with the GT4, all about downforce, because again, this is a track-focused car. And then down below that, you can see the LED light bar design that the new 992 generation is known for. I think it looks fantastic. I love how the Porsche logo has been completely blacked out. And then look how aggressive the diffuser is. You also have the center-mounted exhaust as well, and I think you guys are gonna love how this thing sounds. Now, putting it all together, I'll be honest, this has completely exceeded my personal expectations. I haven't seen one of these in person before, but seeing it in this bright blue, I mean, I'm in love with how it looks. Now, taking a look at the door panel, you guys can see beautiful blue stitching here with the carbon fiber. You can see more leather trim with the Alcantara mixed into it. And then I love how the trim goes to the door handle. Really nice attention to detail. And they've got stuff like your mirror controls. And then you guys can see with the mirrors themselves, again, carbon fiber with those. And then taking a look at the seats, you guys can see we have these carbon fiber buckets. Look how aggressive those are. Absolutely awesome to see these in person, again with the leather and the Alcantara. You've got the blue seat belts again to match with the exterior. Now, the seats are manually adjustable, and something that I found that's really cool, the easiest way to get inside of a GT3 is push the seat all the way back, and then once you get in, then you pull the seat forward to your driving position. That'll make getting in and out, especially with how aggressive these buckets are, a little bit easier. And then you guys can see here for the front and rear to open it up, GT3 on some carbon fiber, beautiful pedals. And then of course we've got the engine stop-start in kind of like key format, and then more carbon fiber trim there, and then look at the leather on the dash. And then before I pop in, you guys can see here in the back, we don't have any back seats. It's just a shelf here in the back. Again, this is a straight up race car, so you're not gonna have back seats. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys can see really nice Alcantara wrapped all around the steering wheel. We've got the drive mode select on the steering wheel itself. Beautiful paddle shifters there on the back. And then this actually has normal practical controls. Like you got some controls with a center stack, you got voice command controls. I mean, heck, this thing even has like a regular stock, you got cruise control. I mean, it's got it all. Now this does have Porsche's newer gauge cluster for the 911, so you can see RPM still front and center. Still has like the analog tachometer, which I think just adds to the appeal with this particular car. But then notice we do have some screen action there on either side, so you can see different bits of information on systems within the car. So they've kind of mixed, you know, some retro stuff with modern tech. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel, and camera resolution's fantastic. Now this leads us to the infotainment system, which is another cool part about the GT3. Again, practical car stuff, right? It has a modern infotainment system that, you know, again, it does take a second for some of the pages to load up, but overall response time's great. It has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I love the little vehicle tab, how it's actually a 911. That's pretty cool. But this is where you can go through the different drive modes. So yes, we have a normal mode, a sport mode, and a track mode. This doesn't try to pretend to be anything else other than it is, which is a track car. That's why there's no, you know, wet mode or snow mode or anything like that. It's like you're either driving normally, you're having fun sporty driving, or you're on a racetrack. And then notice you can also adjust the exhaust as well. And then we also have this for the chassis with the adjustable suspension. And again, the suspension's not pretending to be anything else other than it is. Sport or track, there's no comfort suspension. I love that. So we've got our front end lift. This is for the suspension. You guys can see for the hazard lights, and then your traction control. And yeah, you can turn everything off. And then look at the beautiful carbon fiber trim above. Again, fit and finish, and the overall design here with this interior, it's beautiful. And then you do have the sport chrono clock. The lighting's gonna make it so you can't really see it. Now, another fascinating thing is we've got dual zone climate in a race car. That's pretty cool. And then you can see analog controls for like the radio. And then we have the automatic shifter that looks like a manual transmission shifter. I think this is one of the coolest things that an automaker has ever done. And I love the green on top of it, by the way. But yeah, it has such a nice feel when you put it into gear. GT3 behind that. And then look at all the carbon fiber. Got your parking brake right there. And then we actually still have a normal Porsche center console here. Look at the emblem there. That's really cool. And does it have a glove box? Yes, it does. It's covered in Alcantara. Again, material use is fantastic. And then, sorry about the lighting in the shot, but anyways, up top you guys can see we've got Alcantara all over the headliner and everything. So again, lots of performance materials. So for those of you wondering with this particular exterior color, it's called Shark Blue. And with that being said, let's see how the GT3 drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before you set off. Here's visibility over the hood, both of the mirrors, and then throughout the rest of the rear end. We're gonna adjust this one right here a little bit. Let's try again. Yeah, because it's kind of pointed low. Sorry, I had to adjust my GoPro because it's falling off of my head, but let us set off on our maiden voyage here in the GT3. I'm so glad this has a front end lift because, I mean, again, this is a factory race car. Now, this has been, you know, like most, you know, car journalists or just people in general, this has been a dream car of mine for a long time. Obviously with the manual transmission, but still, any GT3 is just absolutely epic. And that front end lift comes in clutch. Let me tell you, it really does help out with clearing driveways and everything. But yeah, so this will be like my way of experiencing like if this lives up to the hype, right? Now I just have it in the normal function here. I want to make sure this is pulled up so we can change the drive modes later on. Also, we're going to do sport exhaust all the way. Why would we not have the sport exhaust on the whole time? But yeah, I mean, first off, like just seeing this in person, it looks so cool. It, like, the pictures, the videos, none of it does this justice. Also, this has the extinguisher from the factory. That's so cool. It's got a fire extinguisher in it. That is so cool. But yeah, pictures and videos don't do this thing justice. And speaking of not doing this thing justice, videos do not capture how much of a race car this thing is. I mean, right off the bat, like this, I mean, there is no, oh my gosh. Like, this is not trying to hide what it is whatsoever. I have never, oh my gosh, it's so stiff. I have never experienced a car that, except for, I drove the ACR Viper I think it was last year. That is the only other car that I feel like that kind of emulates what this has in terms of, you know, feeling like a race car. Oh my gosh. It's so like, oh, it's perfect. It is so perfect. So that's the normal mode. Let's pop it into sport. So now it's going to be even firmer, and I'm also going to pop it into manual mode here. Yeah, oh my gosh. I like, this is one of those cars, and I like how they've, by the way, this is random, they've got like this Alcantara padding here where your knee would go. So if you're a taller individual or have longer legs like me, then that actually helps out quite a bit. But yeah, just driving this at low speeds, oh my gosh, it's so fun. And you can see the wing in the back there. Look at that, that's so cool. And the transmission, I mean, so smooth. I've recently reviewed some BMW M cars, and I know that completely different world, right? But BMW does some like tuning with that with the 8-speed to make that transmission super sporty. Porsche's obviously done the same thing with this, but like Porsche's tuning with this transmission, it's super quick to shift, but it's also still super smooth. So like you don't have this like jerkiness that I've seen in other high performance automatics. Oh, it's not. So here's the thing, is the damping's actually really good with this. It's just so stiff. But again, like, that's the whole point of this car. And I love how, like, again, you press the paddle and it's just boom. The transmission just, everyone says it's like telepathic, and it's true. But you know what's really surprising to me is how comfortable these seats are. They're very upright, so you do have to get used to that. But I mean, again, for carbon fiber buckets, like, I feel like I could drive 1,000 miles in these seats and be fine. They, like I said during walk around though, it does take a bit to get in and out of the seats, that is for sure. And normally I do some like cuts in the driving portion, so I don't show you guys everything, but like, I think since this is a GT3 review, we gotta have as much footage as we can manage in today's video. Okay, so we're in first gear here. Oh, buddy. Oh, man. That is, I mean, that is one of the most beautiful sounds ever. And so if you guys follow the channel, you know, I own a Shelby GT350, which manual transmission, revs to over 8,000 RPMs, right? One of the most special cars ever. And this is just on, this is on a whole nother level. I mean, it's just the sound. Oh, you could never, that sound would never get old. Never, ever, ever. Such a special engine. Oh man. We gotta get one more for the, just a little, oh man, so fun. So, to sum things up here with the GT3, my first experience in a GT3, obviously PDK, you know, maybe one day we'll be able to do a manual. That front end lift is so fast with the Porsches. It looks amazing. The interior is great. You know, how about this? It exceeded my expectation. I came in thinking that this was going to be a really good track-focused car, and I'm leaving realizing that this is quite possibly the best performance car ever made, and the fact that you can also get this in a manual, I just, like, it's beyond me. So if you happen to have the money for one of these, then there's just, I can't see any other car being worth buying over this. Like, and you know, maybe I need to go and drive some more of these high performance cars, but just the sound and the driving dynamics, like as a car enthusiast, this just, it checks all of the boxes. And this is the automatic. That's so crazy to me. Let me know what you guys think.